to a very special episode of Tea Life with Tiffany. I'm your host, Tiffany Denise, and today I have the pleasure of speaking to two very fabulous women, Laura Jane Jones and Emicia Parker. Both Laura and Emicia have a similar path, but their own personal stories, their own personal purpose is what's going to shine through today. They are our celebration this month for Women's History Month, and this is Tea Life with Tiffany. Enjoy. We're back, and I have with me Miss Laura Jane Jones.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to Tea Life with Tiffany.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I am so glad you are here. And you know, we're in the midst of celebrating Women's History Month.
Yes.
And we have just been all day talking about and full of energy of the feminine principle and what we as women bring to the table.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just, I want to, of course, share with our viewers out there who are watching who you are, what you've done, and what you're doing, a little bit of your journey.
Okay.
Yes, Laura's a fabulous musician, singer, writer, poet. You even went to school for theater.
I did.
Studied dance.
I did. Dance, music, and theater. I went to the Boston Conservatory and the University of the Arts, which is in Philly. I graduated there. And I don't know, I've just been a creative child since I was 4 or 5, I've been singing and in theater and doing dance since then. So I knew at like 7 or 8 that I wanted to have a career in the arts. And we talked earlier today about living your passion, and it's not so much like necessarily wanting to living your life to work and have the most money and have the nicest car, that it's more important to really live your passion and live your dream, and that's the key to happiness. Because if you live your passion and you don't make a lot of money, you're still happy and fulfilled. If you live your passion and you fail, you just feel better that you tried,
And maybe you didn't fail.
And maybe you didn't fail.
Right. If you live your passion and you don't make a whole lot of money, at least you did that.
Exactly.
I like to think that if my time were to come now, then I would be satisfied with what I've done.
Yes.
With my life.
Living with
At
no
this
regrets.
point, right. I don't have any regrets.
Exactly.
About things that I thought I should have done and I didn't do, was too afraid to or whatnot.
Exactly. Yep.
So one of the things that we like to do on Tea Life is we like to really get into the nuts and bolts about a person's life, what they do, what makes them tick, what makes them who they are. And we're drinking actually some really great tea. This is Gemacha. Take
Cheers.
a sip. Yes, I already took a sip. Go ahead. This is a Japanese tea. It's a green tea with roasted rice and popcorn.
Delicious.
Very nice, fulfilling. It's got a nice full body
Earthy.
to it. Earthy, full, but light at the same time, if you could imagine that. Tea is always good for conversation. I love it. It's a great conversation piece. It's good for stimulating great conversation. So what makes Miss Laura Jane who she is? What have been some of your personal triumphs as a young person, and how it's gotten you into your craft as a musician and a fabulous singer, by the way. And hopefully she'll sing a tune or something for us. We'll see.
Sure. I don't know. Everyone has their story, and the thing that's so interesting about humans is everyone has their story and everyone has their struggle. I guess for me, mine would definitely, that makes me my story is that I was raised and I was adopted, and I was raised with a bunch of other adopted kids. It was a multiracial family, and interestingly enough, I was just a happy kid. I didn't feel imprisoned by that condition or that circumstance, being abandoned and left as a child, and I never felt like, oh my God, this happened to me. I've never taken on or owned any kind of victim syndrome. And I also, ironically, definitely being raised in a really multi-ethnic family has completely, shaped my thinking as an adult, because it's literally like, if you're a good person or if I like you, you're really judging people by their character on what's on the inside rather than what's on the outside. But ironically though, I really was a happy kid. I was always kind of a loner. I wrote poetry. I wrote a book when I was 8. It's kind of funny. I mean, I don't even remember what it was about, but I hate to say that, but I don't remember what it was about. But I just was always writing and creative and playing piano and singing and dancing, and I definitely found myself in the arts. I felt more comfortable being creative. I felt connected to life, creating art. So, or expressing myself that way. I knew at a young age that I wanted to go into the performing arts. I didn't really know what exactly, and I really do think now as an adult, for me, the real thing that connects me to life is music. I cannot live without music. If I'm not doing music, singing, making music, I don't feel alive.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm alive.
Yeah.
So, so I don't know. I mean, my journey has probably, I have a lack of roots because of my upbringing. I don't really have that strong, like, rooted, foundation, which I think has made me search and find, so I'm gonna not really interpret that for you because it's very layered when I say that.
So basically, because you didn't have, for you didn't feel that you had like a specific foundation. And with all the multicultural things that you were around, you were kind of able, I'm guessing, able to shape your own world.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I mean is like, I think all of us in some way are looking for a place to belong. I think that's the thing we all have in common as humans.
Yeah.
Like everyone wants to belong somewhere. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be a part of a niche or a circle or a family or a group of some kind. So for me, I just think it was just a little more double fold. It was just more because of the family or a lack thereof. I had a great family, but not really having those strong roots. So I think with that, I was always just kind of searching, but I was never a lost kid or a lost person. I was always very, I don't know, I think I just found myself in the arts. Like I felt that was the thing that I felt most connected to.
Yes.
So that was the thing that became my life force.
Like when you would perform, you would feel alive, or you would feel at home on the stage.
Yes. Like I knew that this was something I needed to do. This was something that was a part of me.
So how were you able to? So did you do this when you were young, and were you able to be a positive influence on some of your other siblings? You were in foster care.
I was for a short time, and my parents are the ones who adopted me. So it was, I didn't have any tragic stories, thank God. My sisters all have their own story as well. They came in a couple years later, and then I have other sisters that came in a couple years later, and we became a family, But everyone has a story. Like I said, I mean,
we all have a story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all have a story.
Yeah. So tell us about the artist, the singer, the musician.
Well, I mean, the singer, the musician, I am Laura Jane. I've got a couple of albums out. I've got an album called To My Planet Boo, which is on iTunes, as well as Everything Changes, which is also on iTunes. I just released a song called Dear Rita, which is my newest and latest single, which is available now on iTunes. There's also a video. And that really is probably my most personal attempt, riskiest attempt, so some of my friends have told me. But I think you have to go big or go home. I think you have to take risks. No pain, no gain.
And Dear Rita was about your biological mother.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And I just kind of loosely created what I thought was the story of what she may have gone through in making her decisions. But it was I'm sure it was kind of therapeutic even for you. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't feel angry or any kind of animosity. Life is what it is. People make choices and they make the best decisions that they can. Yes, I've said that. Yeah. And it's not even necessarily a mistake. It just is what it is. It's a decision that they had to make at that time. At that time. Yeah.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful. Okay. That means 4 minutes? All right. So, yes, that's very, very, very powerful. So, Laura, give our viewers an idea of what's made you successful. And talk to us about being a woman in the industry.
Yeah, being a woman in the industry is difficult, you know, but I think it's really important to just follow through with what you want to do and set a goal and try to achieve it. And instead of like feeling like I'm walking into the situation and I'm not going to get what I need, or I can't because I'm a woman, or this is, it's a man's world. I don't really, again, I don't own a victim state.
You own that victim state.
I don't own it. And it's like, okay, I walk into a room and I said, you know, that's one of the reasons why I did my independent albums. Guess what? I'm the boss.
Right. It's my business.
I'm paying for it. And it's never like, I'm paying for it. But then it's kind of like, sorry, sir, I'm not happy with that mix.
Right.
Can you do it again?
Exactly.
You know? And just knowing that it's an interesting position to be in to really be the boss, because being the boss is not being the boss. You have to be fair, you have to be ethical, you have to
you gotta work hard.
You gotta work hard, you have to set goals, you always need other people. You can't do anything alone. Anyone who tells you that is never done anything.
Right.
You always need people. So I don't know, I think as a woman, I think it's important to you know, be excellent, you know, be excellent, be awesome at everything that you do, and have integrity, and everything else will fall into play.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
I agree.
So
thank you so much for joining us here on TLwT with Tiffany.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Wonderful time spent with you today.
I know, it was excellent.
And we wish you a nice, safe rest of your trip while you're in New York City.
Thank you.
And safe travels back to the West Coast. And hopefully we'll be seeing you again before the year is out. You're going to be back?
I'll be back. We're going to be back.
That's right. Laura, thank you again.
Thank you
for being with us today. And I just want you to share with our viewers how they can find you. Where they can find you at, girl?
Ooh, okay. Well, you guys can find me on my website, which is www.LauraJaneMusic.net. You can find me there. You can also find me on Facebook, which is Laura Jane. You can find me on Twitter, which is Sweet Laura Jane and the number 1. So Sweet Laura Jane 1. And also, I forgot, YouTube, youtube.com/Laura Jane's Music. And both of my albums are on iTunes, To My Planet Boo and Everything Changes, and the new single Dear Rita are all on iTunes. So looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us here at TLwT with Tiffany. We've had a fabulous Sunday afternoon, have we not?
We have. It's been a full day of excitement.
Yes. I'm ready. We're ready to go. We're going to have one last sip of our tea, and we're going to see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.
TLwT with Tiffany. I am Tiffany Janice, your host, and I'm back with my next guest, Miss Emicia Parker. Hello, Miss Parker.
Hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you today?
I'm great. Glad to be here with you.
Thank you for joining us for a cup of tea and conversation.
Yes,
right?
great tea.
Wonderful on a Sunday afternoon. Give matcha. Give matcha. You know, matcha actually, what it translates to is powdered tea. Cha, the matcha, is actually how they say tea in parts of China and Japan.
Nice.
And that's spelled C-H-A. The ma part denotes that it's powdered. The gem.
She is a tea connoisseur, ladies and gentlemen. She knows the etymology of the names of her teas. Matcha. That's
there you have
matcha.
it. There you have it. All right, good matcha. All right. So we're doing this special episode of TLwT with Tiffany with yourself and Laura Jane.
Yes.
And we just wanted to do something really positive for Women's History Month. Hey, we're women making history. Right?
Absolutely.
We have a story, we have a journey, and we wanted to have you on to share your story and share your journey. I interviewed you a while ago for a radio show that I do.
It was awesome.
It was fun, right? Had you on the air. And we were just talking about some of the wonderful things that you're doing, and we want to share that with our viewers. You're actually running for a pageant that's coming up in August or July?
Yes, in July.
In July.
I'm the current reigning Miss New York Plus America, and I will be going to Atlanta in July to compete to become Miss Plus America.
And tell me what.
So you guys keep your fingers crossed.
That's
all
right.
Of you. Cross all your fingers.
Fingers crossed. You got that? Okay. So I understand that you are running for Miss Plus America.
Yes.
You currently have the reigning title. Is that what it's called? You're the reigning
Miss New York.
Miss New York.
Yes.
Okay. And the pageant is coming up in July.
Yes.
But I know from doing the interview on the radio with you that it's much more than running to become a Miss Plus New York or Miss Plus America is the next piece. It's more personal for you. Can you tell us about the personal piece in this particular project you're working on?
Sure. Well, the Miss Plus America pageant system is one that really focuses on a platform. It's not just about like hair and makeup and outfits. It's more about taking a woman that's already like making a difference in her community and just giving her a greater capacity in which to serve. So I definitely would like to do that. My platform being empowering underserved youth, because as a person that is a product of the foster care system, I understand how many needs children have and you know just how important all of our contributions are in the lives of children. So I've already begun that work. As Miss New York, I've been able to travel to schools and speak literally to hundreds of children already, and I'm only in like my 3rd month of my reign. So I just can only imagine how many more opportunities will present themselves if I were to win the national crown.
See, I think someone like yourself with that personal integrity, giving the opportunity to share with more people, and if this is a platform that you can, is a pathway to that, then you know people should support it.
I hope so.
Because you definitely seem very sincere about your purpose. And you mentioned that you are also a product of the foster care system, kind of similar to what Laura was saying earlier.
Yes.
How did that affect, or not affect, or whatever, how did that add to your particular story?
Sure. Wow, it just changed the entire trajectory of my life. I can't even imagine what type of person I would have been if I'd have been raised by the people who gave birth to me. It changed the entire trajectory of my life. I don't even know what person I would have been if I were raised by the people who are my biological parents. I definitely believe that my parents who raised me wanted me to be there. You know, it's not just that they happened to have me, they chose me. And that is, it made all the difference in the world. And I believe the way that it affects what I do now is that I understand just how many different complex emotions children have. We have a tendency of doing things around children and saying, oh, well, they don't understand their kids, you know? And I know what it's like to be 7 years old and to find out I'm adopted and to have all of these intense feelings of rejection and not being wanted. And what did I do that was wrong, you know? So even when I'm dealing with children now, a lot of them present as being very happy, or they present as being playful. But they have a lot of deeper issues.
Exactly. Going on beneath the surface.
Absolutely.
I always, find myself for adults that say that same thing. Oh, they don't understand. They're just kids. I'm thinking they absolutely do.
Yes.
Like to just pretend that young people don't feel and can't perceive.
Yes.
It's just it's unfortunate that some adults think that way, and I don't know if it's a way for them to not take responsibility, I think, for what they present into the lives of young people. Oh, they don't know, they're just young. But children absorb all of that. Absolutely. It shapes their world.
Yes.
Right? So how did you get into well, you're also an artist. You do a lot of different things as well. So
I am.
Tell us how those different aspects of your creativity have shaped who you are now. Because I know you still do a lot in terms of creating art.
It definitely, I could completely relate to Laura Jean when she explained that art was where she felt a sense of belonging. Yeah. Because I think when you find out you're adopted, you're always wondering, well, who are my people? You know, it's like, who are my people? Okay, well, my adopted parents are here and I see them with their family. That's their people. Sometimes when there are other foster children, you see them with their biological families and you're like, okay, those are their people. But you want to know who your people are. And I think when I landed in LaGuardia High School, the famed school, and I was surrounded by musicians and visual artists and singers, that's when I knew I found my people. It's like I felt like
so it had
I
nothing
belonged.
to do with the bloodline. It was more like
wasn't
a
about
spiritual.
No. It was like, wow, we're family because we think alike. We perceive the world alike. We have the same desire to interpret whatever it is that we're experiencing in a way that will help other people. So, you know, even when I found my biological family, I still don't feel as close to my biological family as I feel to some of my friends from high school that are artists. So I definitely agree that, you know, just being an artist allows you to have a stronger sense of self.
So do you think that you've been able to be a very wonderful influence, positive influence on other young people who may coming up in the foster care system or is being adopted?
I certainly hope so. One of my most memorable pageant appearances thus far was I got to speak to some group home children from Boys Town. And there were some teenagers that, I mean, society kind of, they've written them off. They said, oh, you guys are juvenile delinquents and you're not going to amount to anything. And just being able to explain to them what my situation was and being able to just model for them, you know, the end result of who they could be. Although I believe that all of them have the ability to go much farther than I've even gone. If I didn't believe that, then I shouldn't be doing this. But I believe they have the ability to go even further than me. So I think it's very important when you're dealing with children or foster children and when you're dealing with children in general. Because I think a lot of times children want to go far, but they don't really have a model. They don't know how to go, where it is that they want to go.
And what you are presenting is a model for them.
Absolutely.
So what comes next? So you win in July, then what? That's how you got to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I win in July, and I have a much stronger foundation for my nonprofit if I win in July. And with my nonprofit, I'll be able to create programs where I'll be able to go into schools, not only now in New York, but now across the country, and speak to young people and to just uplift them, to encourage them, to help them find what it is that they're good at. And once they find what it is that they're good at, they'll work in that vein and hopefully become productive
and
contributors. Yes.
Yeah. Where can we find you online and all that good stuff?
Sure. You can find me at my website, which is emicia.com. That's EMICIA.com. You can find me on Facebook at Emicia Yvette. That's my middle name. You can find me on Instagram at Emicia_. You can find me at Key Food looking for fresh produce. And you can find me at a school near you, just talking to children and mentoring them and getting them ready for life.
So if someone wants you to come out to a school, do they send you an email?
They can send me an email, but I would prefer you use the contact portion of my website. Yes. Because then you can send the exact inquiry and I'll know exactly what's going on that way. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.